So what's...
No, I can do it.
You do it from there? Yeah, so I touch nothing. I just talk. Egan, I like your style, mate. Right.
You're from Alfas?
Yeah. But
We played here last year. Costa del Sol.
oh right, yeah, yeah. I struggle with player identification though, because I was only second team and old men, so I struggle to know the players' names and stuff.
Let's go.
Well, welcome back to the Woodbury Oval here in Albert, Sporting Alfas Cricket Club's home ground. And we're about to see how Sporting Alfas get on, chasing this total of 105, 106 to win on this first game here. Finals weekend, T10 if you've just joined us. The bish, bash, bosh of T10. For those who aren't familiar with the T10 format, it's cricket as you know it, but with all the fat cut off it. It's just the bare bones. 60 balls. Every shot needs to be an absolute cracker. 10 and over. It's a par-ish score, perhaps slightly fewer than they might have wanted. Gracia, and I think Alfas will make a good job of chasing this. They know the track, obviously it being their home pitch. It's a bouncy tennis ball type of track if you've never played here before. What it means is even length balls get up, so you need to be bowling a fuller length than you might on some tracks. But a lot of these guys obviously have bowled here before as well, and they'll be familiar with it. Gracia from the Barcelona region of Spain. And a good start from a bowling point of view. No runs on the board yet. So let me just give you some personnel. That's Shakil facing at the moment at the other end Jack Perman, who these days plays a lot of his cricket in England, being at university there. And Shakil yet really to put back to ball in anger. And still no score on the board. Kuldip Lal is your bowler. So there's your identification of players for this first over. It's certainly not the start that Alfas would have wanted. You do need to put bat to ball if you're going to win these 10 over matches. If that isn't stating the absolute obvious. Not entirely sure he got back to that one as well. Might be leg buys. Don't know if he got something to it. Very good running though. The umpire signals nothing, so it was backed. And Alfas, if not up and running, at least up and trundling. Obviously in these early overs, power play, only 2 fielders back on the boundary at the moment. Oh, he's trying to hit everything so far, isn't he? He's just swinging himself off his feet. And he could do well with having a word with himself. And if he doesn't have a word with himself, I'm sure Jack Perman at the other end will just tell him, calm down, mate, calm down. Kuldip comes in. Can he finish off a very tidy over with another dot? And the answer is yes, he can. Oh, he's just pushed that one wide of the batsman. And 1 goes on to the score. Alfas won't complain. They will take any run that they can at this stage. finally back to ball, but straight at the fielder. And it means Shaka will keep the strike. And that isn't necessarily what Alfas wanted. They've got the big hitting Jack Perman in there, has yet to face a ball and will not face the first ball of the second over. Again, for those unfamiliar with T10, to keep the pace of play up, all bowling happens from the same end. It's just the umpires skip gaily across the turf to change ends, so the fielders can all stay in the exact positions. And by the time the umpire actually reaches the stumps, the batsman would have strolled down as well. So there we go, 4 without loss off the first over, chasing a total of 106 to win this first match here at finals weekend. Sheffield actually puts back to ball, lofts it over extra cover. There's 2 easy runs there. In fact, it's 4 runs. It's run away. The outfield is still a little damp from dew. It was quite a dewy start to the day. It's not the world's fastest outfield anyway, even at the best of times. As a lot of these Spanish facilities are, it's dual purpose. There is golf played on this facility as well. And the outfield isn't necessarily cut as short as you might like. Now there is a big shot. Umpire has to think about it. Fielder confirms it was 6, and that is 6 runs. And Shakeel has certainly taken a liking to this bowler where he didn't like Lal. This bowler being, let me give that to you, is Trilagan Singh. A heave to leg, it's just going to be the one, or is it? Right, Jack Perman yet to have an opportunity to free those long limbs of his. Finally gets the chance to see some of this bowling. He'll take his guard. Doesn't really matter what guard Jacko takes, he'll fetch everything over to the leg side. Comments of "oh yes" from behind me in agreement with that as well. He has the full range of shots, but he is very, very effective in that arc between long on and square leg. A lot of balls disappear in that direction. And for those who don't know the Woodbridge Oval, there is a duck pond over there. Didn't get the full face of the baronet, just edges one behind square. And there to the man at, what should we call it, on 45. On the one inside the ring. Well, it was well bowled. It beat him all ends up, but it has gone for 5 wides. When I say well bowled, take that back. From our angle here, we're not totally square on here in the commentary position, and obviously the umpire did not like the amount of leg-sidedness in that, and Alfas will willingly take those runs. It was a very economical first over, but this is much more to their liking. They are now ahead of the rate, and I think with 1 ball left of this second over of the Alfas reply. Oh, that could be another wide as well. Yep, umpire has no hesitation calling that a wide. We can't afford too many extras today because we are trying to cram in an awful lot of cricket. There is a match every 90 minutes. Now we are in November, obviously the light does go fairly early. That's a good old fetch into the leg side, just came off the toe end of the bat. It's a single. Is that the end of the over? Has he nicked the strike again? Or am I getting ahead of myself? Oh, we've had 2 wides in here, haven't we? Yep. So we have another look at Jack Perman. Even though he hasn't faced many balls, he'll be getting impatient down there. He'll be wanting to crack on with it. And he could have gone. That is a magnificent catch, an absolutely magnificent catch. The umpire's looking for confirmation. I'm happy. The only person who's not happy with that catch, obviously, is Jack Perman, who trudges back. The victim of having to stand at the non-striker's end for so long. Impatience got the better of him. The ball was there for hitting. He just didn't get all of it. And that is a blow for Alfas. He is a very useful player, obviously a Spanish international, both a Spanish youth international and a Spanish senior international, not with the Spanish side who are playing elsewhere this weekend. And he drags himself off the ground. So I believe that was the end of the over. The umpires are doing their thing. I think we have another change of bowling. Mukhtar Singh is the new bowler. He's coming in off 4 or 5 paces. He dropped that one short, and that is immediately latched onto. And it goes for 6. It really deserved it. A horrible loosener. You've got no time to settle in here as a bowler. I say the pressure was on Jack Perman as a batsman, no time to settle in as a batsman, but the same applies as a bowler really. With the batsman looking to get after every ball, you have got to be on it right from the very first ball of your spell. And sadly that was just a generous long hop. He's dragged it down again, but not quite so short. And I think that might well go as leg byes. See what the umpire has to say for himself. Not entirely sure. Once again, maybe got a little something on it. So it's Furkan who has come in to replace Perman. He takes his guard. He seems in no rush to get on with proceedings. He's a cool customer. Perfect day for cricket here. I say we're into the first week of November. The sun is bright. The sky is virtually cloudless. And that is a lovely ball to greet a new batsman with. Just full stump, good length. Trying to give it a little dink down to third man. The bounciness of the track doing for him. And he just has to watch it go past him. 2 dots. He'll already be feeling the pressure on him. Slower ball. Picked up on it though. And that is very well run. A miss-hit shot still yielding 2 runs. So Alfas are trotting on quite nicely with this reply now. They are well ahead of the rate. That's a nice ball again. Well, I say they're well ahead of the rate. They're just absolutely spot on with it. Yep. Absolutely spot on. 32 for 1 off 3. So Furkan on 2 off 4 balls. Shakil has 22 of just the dozen deliveries that he's received. And all in all, it's nicely in the balance. A lovely match to start us here on finals weekend. Even if a 9 o'clock start is inhuman. There's a bit of toing and froing between keeper and Oh no, he's just standing up to the stumps. So he wants the hat on. Very wise. So with 3 overs gone, the power play is over. We've got 3 men back on the boundary now. We've got a deep square leg, we've got a long on, and we've got an offside sweeper, and a big swing and a miss. Umpire signals the byes. Nicely scampered. Excuse me for one moment, I'm just working technology, and being an old man, multitasking is not a skill. So a bit of a leading edge into the covers, and a well scampered too. Good word, scamper, isn't it? Didn't know I was going to use that when I woke up this morning, but there it is. Not even 10 o'clock yet, and it's already out the locker. They think very briefly about taking 2. That would have been suicidal. And just a single onto the score. Beautiful. The athletic figure of Kuldeep is standing right in front of me on the boundary and completely blocked my view, and it's a wicket. So you at home will probably be able to tell me about that delivery rather than me telling you about it. Answers on a postcard. I'm being told it was a prospective hoik over cow corner. Of course it was, it's T10. Are there any other shots? But Shakil did what he needed to do. He got the innings off to a good start after that circumspect first over. And his figures, as he wandered off, were 22 off 14 balls, 1 4, 2 6s. So we're still in the 4th over here. A lot seems to have gone on in the 4th over. 1 ball to come. Dropped in short, and the new batsman just scampers a single. And that is the over. So again, Alfas just slipped slightly behind the required run rate with the loss of that wicket in there. And a dot and a leg by, a couple of economical balls in there. The ball did not cross the boundary in any of the 6 deliveries in that over. And that is not what you want when you are chasing over 10 and over. So the two batsmen out there, Furkan has faced 7 balls and the new batsman Paul Quinn has faced 1. And that is a wide. So we'll get a chance to have another look at that one. So the required rate, it's up over 11. Oh, there's a very confident appeal. The wicketkeeper is doing that very good. I can't believe you haven't given that umpire. How can that not be out? Sort of expression. But umpire is unmoved. Quinn is still there. The world continues to turn. Oh, now that should have gone. It was dropped in short, miss hit, but managed to get a top edge over the keeper's head. And they galloped through for a single. Keeps the scoreboard ticking over, but again, the ball needs to be crossing this boundary rope if Alfas are going to stay up with the rate. That's a big hit. Finally in the slot for him. Frees his arms. Heaves it away over square leg. It's a very, very simple game sometimes, isn't it? It's a see ball, hit ball game sometimes. And a dot ball. The umpire turned both ways, both to his partner and to the scoreboard, and the scorer sat by the scoreboard, but signalled nothing in terms of score. He was just checking the number of balls in the over. That's a miss hit, but it's a miss hit into no man's land. And the batters might well come back for 2. They have. There's a misfield. They put the pressure on the fielder. And they come through nicely for 2. They need all of these now. They can't afford to let that run rate get up beyond 12-ish. Coldy rather kindly has moved wider at long on so I can now see proceedings. He didn't do it in response to my request. It was a tactical decision on his part, but it means I can see proceedings far clearer now. And what I can see is the fact that the umpire has said over. Don't think I informed you that the bowler was BJ there, did I? BJ cash up. So you had an anonymous 6 balls there, but retrospectively, not a bad over at all from BJ. 47 for 2. Half of the overs gone. So Colleagues turned and asked me how many required. 59 needed off 5 overs. It's 11.8 is the rate. A service I'm offering to the players there. That'll be a fiver. It's a good ball, but it's one of those things where as a bowler you'll think you're hard done by, but a big thick outside edge goes down through a finish third man, 4 runs. And Quinn adds 4 to his total. He's now 6 off 4 balls. Oh, and that's just, I think, a premeditated shot there. And by the time the ball actually came, he was playing the wrong shot to get anywhere near it. And he's cross with himself, as well he might be. Good enough to play the ball on its merit. And plays a much more authentic shot there. It's a great bit of fielding on the boundary. It really was a lovely, lovely shot. Got onto his front foot, opened the face, and punched out to cover point boundary. Really nice shot. Pleasure to watch. Now that's the length to be bowling. He obviously wants to go on his front foot. He likes to drive. He likes to pick that ball up. And was half coming forward to a ball that was too short to come forward to. And in the end tried to nurdle it, missed it altogether. Oh, a noble effort on the boundary. But the ball was going too fast. It's 6, went all the way. And he'll be feeling a lot happier about proceedings, Will Quinn. Now he's felt the bat on ball a couple of times. Skips down, takes on the bowler, and once again he's got a thick edge down to third man, but there is a man down there now. And consequently it's just a single, means Quinn has nicked the strike. So 4 overs left. 46 needed. 11 and a half. So that seemed like a high scoring over. It was only an absolute gnat's what's it ahead of the required rate. Fired in. Really full at the batsman's toes. Good dot ball. This is Video Cash up again, coming back for his second over of his spell. Again, just 2 over spells in T10. As a bowler, you've got to make your mark in a very limited amount of time. And he's bowled well so far. He's bowled very well. Another dot ball. His economy rate's around about, what, 8 and over, isn't it? Just doing a quick bit of mental gymnastics. Not mental gymnastics at all, is it? It's merely division. The man talks rubbish. Drops that one in short. And, oh, it's just long enough to clear the boundary. The fielder down there at mid-wicket fancied his chances, but in the end he had to watch it soar over his head, and now he's trotting in to the duck pond enclosure. I got bitten by a duck in there a few weeks ago. It wasn't hard, but I think it's got more an affectionate little nibble than an aggressive bite, but who knows? Who'd be able to tell the difference? Perhaps an experienced duck keeper. I wasn't. I put it down to an experienced nibble. The ball is back. The field is back in position. And that is fairly comprehensive. A big 6 followed by a big swing and a miss. Both sides of T10 cricket seen there in the space of 2 balls. Again, Furkan's done a job. What was it? 19 off of 13 balls, something like that. So again, he batted at just the required run rate. This looks like Gary Crompton going out now, I believe. I could be wrong. You could never tell under these caps and hats, can you? It certainly looks like them to me, to my tired old eyes. He's an opening batsman in the longer form of the game, but he's a big hitter. He's a big accumulator of runs. but he's going to have to accumulate them fairly quickly, with the rate still being around the 12 and over mark. Plays a lovely little nudge off his legs in the leg side. He's off the marks, just a single, but that'll feel good. Always nice to get your score ticking over from your first ball. It's also nicked the strike. So your two batsmen out there, Gary Compton, who has just faced his first ball, 1 run off 1 ball, and Paul Quinn, who's been doing a good job out there, 16 runs off 11 balls, 1-4, 1-6, and a couple of bits of loose change. But suddenly, as happens in T10, we are down at the business end of things. Just 3 overs to go. Wickets not a concern. Plenty in hand and plenty of batting all the way down for Alfas today. Some big hitters still in the hutch. There you go, got myself all tangled there, didn't I, this early in the morning. He's dragged that down. He's lucky that didn't go for a lot more. Compton seemed committed to playing something on the offside there, when perhaps if he'd got back and across he could have fetched that into the pond. But who am I to tell him how to play his game? He's playing, I'm not. Slower ball, well watched, pushed out to point, and the batsman disagrees strongly about whether there was a second there. Quinn was fairly sure there was. Compton, with his slightly older legs, sent him back, discretion being the better part of valour. And he's chopped that away to third man. There is a man down there. Again, just a single. And there's an overthrow. That is untidy. Will that be vital later on? Who knows? Is any one run any more vital than any other one run? There's a philosophical debate for some other time. But with each single, the rate creeps up. And with each dot, the rate pushes up even further. And Alfas have got a fight on their hands now. And that will go. There should be 2 there if the batsmen run well. They have to, surely they have to. They had to go for it. Compton almost sacrificed himself there, going for the second run. Perhaps knowing that it was desperate measures needed in desperate times. And glancing across, is this Darren Walker coming out now? I'm squinting in the sunshine. If it is, the big hitting left-handed bat. Perhaps better known as a bowler in the setup, but a very, very effective late-order batsman. And dare I say finisher. Well, we'll find out very shortly. Indeed it is the left-handed Walker. Takes his guard. Very, very strong on the offside. Loves smashing it away on the offside. He's got a big heavy bat. So right arm round to the left-hander. Again, tries to smash it out through point. Just gets enough on it to take a single. He will keep the strike. Alfas have a mountain to climb. The rate has crept up. And if I were a betting man, I'd say Gracia are very much favourites to win this first match of finals weekend here at Sporting Alfas Cricket Club in Albear. I have been somewhat remiss in giving you bowlers' names. Perhaps being an Alfas man myself, I've been concentrating on commentating more from a batting point of view. Call me a bad person. So 32 needed of 2 overs. It's too many, isn't it? Is it too many? I think it probably is. And again, just the single. Right, Mr. Quinn, Mr. Paul Quinn down there facing now. He's the batsman with his eye in. He's been rattling along quite nicely with 17 runs off a dozen balls. He is going to need exactly that rate plus one more run if he's going to take Alfas home from this challenging position. And a dot. Slip it away, chaps, isn't it? Slip it away. It's remarkable how quickly in this T10 you can feel you're in a comfortable position, up with the rate, plenty of wickets in hand. And then one tight over and a couple of dot balls and it's all gone. He's tried the big heave on that, just lofts it out to long off. Good running though for 2. Walker, despite his name and despite his advancing years, he's no spring chicken, scampered. No, he didn't scamper, he sprinted Usain Bolt style for 2 there. He was running back to the danger end. That's a nice shot out to point, very orthodox shot, but again yields only the single. And at the risk of stating the obvious, Alfas need boundaries. They need a few of them, and they need them quickly. As it is, Gracia are working their way very effectively towards their first victory in this tournament. Walker asking for the sight screen to be tweaked. We have the right arm round the wicket bowling. A big heave into the leg side, but there is a man there at short mid wicket. Just takes the one. And we are into the sort of realms of improbability now for Alfas. It looks as if they're going to be a good 10 runs at least short at the end of this innings. The poor old fielders are being asked to do the sight screen again. As Kuldeep goes back to over the wicket to the right-handed batsman. And Quinn scythed across that. Put it right up in the air, but 2 runs. Now, the umpire at square leg signalled something, but I think he was just tossing a pebble into the air, was he? The batsmen are still there. Yep. It was not a run out. Very good running. But it's a big, big ask now, isn't it? So at a time now, 10:25. The next match is actually scheduled. That's a good word, isn't it? Scheduled. I had my morning teeth in still. Scheduled to go up at 10:30. So we really are cramming it in. So here we are, 6 balls to come. There's some debate as to how many runs are actually required. I've got 25 on my card, but 27 required is being told to me. Either way, it's a challenge. I'll just try and clear up exactly what the score is. I've got a discrepancy of 2 runs between my card and the scoreboard on the ground. But unless there are some boundaries, it won't make a lot of difference. And there's a dot. Well, it's not a dot, it's a wicket, but effectively a dot in terms of scoring. And the game now is surely beyond reach for Alfas. Looking back at chapters of the game, they started their bowling very effectively. The first couple of overs actually were very, very miserly. Alfas looked favourites early in the game when they were bowling. They looked as if they were chasing this total fairly well. But when push came to shove, Gracia just held their nerve, bowled well, bowled in the right areas, took their catches, and in the end, Alfas have come up short. At home advantage. They haven't. Sorry, I just wandered off there for a second while there was a quick discussion in the score box. But it's all largely academic now. That's gone for 4, but a case of too little, too late in terms of the Alfas reply. So as this Alfas chase fizzles out, let me just tell you that the next match on straight after this, scheduled to go at 10:30, so we're going to be a couple of minutes late on that. Ibiza against Badalona. That'll be on immediately we have finished this one. Wickets are tumbling with gay abandon. And you might as well, chaps, just call it a day now. Off your pop, go on. Who's going to get the thankless task of coming out and facing the last ball or two with nothing to gain and everything to lose? Let's see who it is. So the man who is tasked to come out with the futile job of scoring 20 odd runs off 1 ball, or is it 2 balls? So much excitement in these last couple of balls. It's Waka. A lovely guy and a real mainstay of not just the Alfas side but also the Alfas club as well. Very popular character, plays a lovely shot into the offside. He's dropped there, I think. Couldn't tell because there were all sorts of bodies in front of me. But yep, the Alfas reply fizzled out. The best part of 20 runs short at the end. Maybe it was 19 runs short. It's largely academic. Heads are down as the 2 Alfas batsmen trudge off. Gracia have done a very, very good job in this first early morning fixture of finals. I shall leave you for a second now, and we'll be back in a couple of moments with that second match, which is, as I say, Ibiza against Badalona.